Hey guys, Adam and Kath here for Film Club.
Our first episode.
This episode we're doing a Netflix movie and we'll have a movie coming out to theaters later in the month. So the movie we chose was Isn't It Romantic?
Because we just love rom-coms so much.
It came up and we were like, yeah, no, we'll give it a go. It stars Rebel Wilson and then like the leading man is sort of Liam Hemsworth. It's meant to be like it's meant to subvert the tropes of rom-coms. Like the whole movie's meant to be like a fuck you to rom-coms.
Yeah. And we're going to get into that and how well it does with that later.
But instead of going straight into everything that we didn't like, because there was a lot of things that we did not like, let's talk about some of the things we did like. Particularly how this movie stands out. Like, I feel like it stands out.
I think the trailer definitely caught my attention.
Yeah, the trailer came up on Netflix just kind of at random a while ago before it actually came onto Netflix. I was like, I guess I'd watch it. It's like, it came up in the recommended along with things like Dumpling and stuff.
Yeah, I still haven't watched that.
I haven't watched it either, I don't really want to.
Yeah.
But,
it's the typical Netflix film. Yeah, you look at it and you kind of, and you don't really want to.
Yeah. But, I thought it was interesting. I definitely feel like this movie is original, but I don't think that necessarily speaks to it being good.
I think that whoever wrote it thought they had a very original concept.
I feel like, I mean, you can tell we didn't do enough research that we don't know who directed this movie. But
oh my god.
We don't know who
don't
directed
call
it or wrote
it out.
But basically, we feel like someone was like, oh gosh, rom-coms are so silly. Let's just do a movie where we just talk about the tropes and, we make fun of it and we'll be cool because it's satire. But then you have the movie, be like, these tropes are dumb, and then still fall into the tropes.
It has every big trope.
Yeah, the movie just ends in the classic rom-com trope where we'll get into it when we talk about the story, but I found it very infuriating.
Yeah, that they made such a big deal out of like, oh, we're different, and then it's just like, you're really not though.
Yeah, like the movie itself, it stands out, but it doesn't stand out for the right reasons, in my opinion.
I'd say it's very colourful.
Oh yeah, the colour was really good. Like I really enjoyed the costume design because I really enjoyed that. I really loved whoever styled the actors in the movie. I thought they did a good job.
They go through a lot of different outfits.
Yeah,
and it was great. I think it's supposed to only take place over 2 days, and yet they have 20 different outfit changes. No,
it definitely. Well, okay. Story-wise, the movie takes place all in her head, mainly. So, yeah, it's only 1 or 2 days. But in the dream sequence, which is what most of the movie is, it's a few weeks. Maybe a month.
I guess. I don't know, it still feels like it's not that long to me.
Definitely not long, considering everything that goes on. But, on a scale of individuality, I feel like it's a 5 out of 10 because yes, it's original, but it's not original for a good reason.
Yeah, it's kind of an original idea because I've seen this done with horror movies quite a lot, but not really with rom-coms. I don't think I've seen it done with.
Yeah,
and I do like that they kind of call out a few rom-coms.
Yeah, that was good. She goes on an entire tirade that lasts about 3 hours in film about how dumb each individual trope is in a rom-com, and she lists them all and she goes on about them, and you can tell she must have seen so many rom-coms, and yet she's so angry and bitter. Yeah,
she's so angry at all of them because she kind of grew up watching them. We get a little flashback and she's like, you'll never have that.
Yeah, Pretty Woman, that the movie opens with her watching Pretty Woman, and then later on in her dream sequence she has to get an outfit from the lost and found of a hospital, and it's the outfit from one of the scenes in Pretty Woman where Julia Roberts has just gone on a shopping spree and she's wearing this white dress with this nice hat. So it was a callback to that, which I thought was interesting.
I didn't even get that because I haven't seen Pretty Woman.
It was on the movie. She was watching that scene.
I know. It's just ugh. It is a cool little detail now that you mention it, but it's not something I would notice.
What I also liked is a lot of the outfits were very nice, and they didn't try to dress Rebel Wilson in outfits that were, I don't want to say form flattering. I mean, they didn't try to dress her in outfits that would be like big girl flattering, as in the kinds you'd see in magazines for women who want to dress to flatter their shapes. They just dressed her in pretty clothes and she looked pretty.
Yeah,
like, because she is pretty.
A few weeks ago there was a small controversy. I'm not sure whose lingerie line I think it was. It might have been Rihanna's. The plus size model clothes were completely different designs.
Oh really?
Like very, very different. Like the same colour and kind of similar pattern, but different cuts of the same. And it's just like, people were really mad about it for obvious reasons, because like bigger people can wear the same clothes. You don't have to make different things for them. Like, it's just kind of like cheapening it. It was, because it was lingerie, it's supposed to be sexy and like lacy and a bit see-through, you know.
Yeah.
But they got rid of the see-through part, and it's just like, well, why? So it's a good thing that in this movie they didn't try to do that with Rebel Wilson. They kept her in pretty, honestly, revealing sexy outfits. Yeah,
like some of the time she was just wearing comfortable stuff that she liked, you know, whatever. And then other times she was in like this beautiful red dress, and she was in
like shoulder straps and everything. I was like, oh, so good.
Yeah, and she had this yellow kind of jacket with this long skirt, and like a lot of the time you're like, oh, if you're a larger woman, don't wear long skirts, wear like medium length skirts, because they slim you down. Long skirts just kind of bring everything to, like, they make you look like a circle or something, and you want to look more like, you know, something else. And I'm just like, no, that's stupid. She looked nice in the outfit.
Yeah, she looked great.
And she also wore tight clothing, and like a lot of times you would see, style wise, in movies they would avoid tight clothing for larger people because it doesn't look as good.
Yeah.
They would avoid tight clothing for larger people.
They were very tight, they were nice, yeah. So, I guess that's a good thing. And then the boys were all dressed quite well.
Yeah, no, the men were dressed really well. Liam Hemsworth in particular was usually dressed in some sort of suit.
Because he was playing a billionaire.
Yeah, or he would have like nice trousers and like a blazer type thing. And then Adam Devine would be wearing usually kind of like a t-shirt and jeans, or like a shirt and jeans, I guess.
I think in the real life he was usually wearing a shirt and jeans, and in the actual like fantasy world it turned into
I don't think he really changed much. I think he was pretty much the same in both.
I think his hair was done nicer.
Maybe. But I think that was the whole point. There was meant to be like a glossy filter over the dream sequence as opposed to the regular part of the world. I think we should break down the story for you now, like properly. Now, obviously, as we've already been saying there are spoilers in this review.
It's best if you watch this after you've seen it yourself.
Yeah, if you've seen it already, you know, go to town, great, listen. But like otherwise, I'd kind of say, yeah, watch it, form your own opinion, and then maybe listen to us.
Yeah. I mean, it's on Netflix. You probably have it, like most people do.
Yeah, like probably people have seen it a bunch already. But story-wise, basically, Rebel Wilson plays Natalie, who works at an architecture firm, and she's in charge of designing the parking garage of a hotel being built. And she's really against love, and you can tell Josh, her co-worker, who's played by Adam Devine, really likes her, but she's like completely dense about it.
Yeah.
And like he asks her out, and she's like, "What? No, I don't like that stuff. No, what?"
Because he asked her to karaoke and stuff, and she's like, "I don't like karaoke. Why would you?"
Yeah, like that? She's like classic rom-com naive. Oh, you honestly don't see it.
Does not get the hint. It has to be spelled out to them.
And like even still in the real world before the dream sequence, he's telling her, "You're literally blind to love. Like you don't even get it when it's right in front of your face." And she's like, "That's not true." And he's like, and like you can tell he's screaming internally, "Me, it's me. I like you. It should be me."
But she basically has this kind of like, you know, typical shitty life, like, oh, everyone in work disrespects her and like after do all their work for her.
Yeah, like her superior in work is always like, "Hey, go do this stuff," which is her job, and like the people keep like, "Hey, can you throw this out for me?" And she's like, "Yeah, okay, I guess," and she lets people walk all over her.
And it's rebate stuff like, "Oh, can you call the IT guy?" Like, why can't you call the IT guy?
Yeah, it's literally your job as like the supervisor.
And so she gets hit by a car, isn't it?
No, one day she's on the subway and she gets mugged, and then she hits her head really hard on this thing.
Okay, this is actually something that annoyed me.
What?
She gets hit by the halal cart. Then she gets...
Yeah, but that was fine.
I know.
She didn't hit her head.
They kept on like having things happen to her that you think, oh, this is going to be... Because you've seen the trailer. You think,
yeah,
this is
that was really annoying. You see her hit her head, and then you're like, oh, this is the moment. And there's a bunch of times she gets hit, and like nothing happens. But I think that's just to like build up the suspense.
And it doesn't work.
No, not really. It's kind of, it falls flat, really. But, so she hits her head after they're getting mugged, and then she wakes up in, like, a really fancy rom-com-esque version of a hospital. The doctor's gorgeous.
Yeah. Stunning.
Yeah, and a very handsome guy. I've seen him in other stuff, I'm sure. I just can't remember what. So then she gets out of the hospital, and her life is infinitely better. Her dog is clean and happy. Her apartment is huge with everything she could want in it. Her job is in, like, a super amazing building, and she's, like, being treated as the star architect because she's the main character in this rom-com now. And just, like, all the tropes are coming out. She's got a gay best friend sidekick. She's got a guy who's in love with her who's, like, you know, trying to move on. You've got, like, the billionaire gorgeous guy who's falling for her and saying beguiling all the time.
Yeah.
And her best friend from work is now her mortal enemy just because they're both women in an office.
Yeah, like, it's her rival actually now. Like,
Yeah, actual rivals, even though she's still her assistant.
Yeah, it's very confusing. It's like,
Yeah.
you're going down.
Yeah, like constantly flipping her off as well.
And she has
That
like a new posh
didn't really,
accent.
yeah, it never really struck me as funny.
No.
No, it was always kind of like,
They never really expand on it either.
no. Story-wise, it was fine, I guess. Like, I was just super underwhelmed most of the time.
Yeah. Basically, like, she goes on some typical romantic dates with the billionaire guy.
Yeah. Yacht stuff, ice cream.
Like, it's great. He breaks into a shop and it's like, that's his rebel side coming out.
Yeah.
For Rebel fun.
Of course.
And
they go to sleep together, and because this rom-com she's in is PG-13, it just cuts to the next morning, and she tries so many times to try and, like, have sex with him, and it just keeps cutting to the next morning, so she just gives up, and she's, like, really bummed out about it.
It's cute, it's funny.
Yeah, that was kind of funny, but they did it so many times over and over. She was trying to, like,
Even when she found out she couldn't swear, they kept going back. It's like, okay, we get it.
Yeah, it made me think of The Good Place. Like, how they have to say fork and bench.
And yeah, it's better there.
Yeah, well, they execute it a lot better. But yeah, no, it was just kind of like they did the joke and then they kept going back to the same jokes instead of having better, different jokes.
Or
they were
expanding on it anyway. Like the truck, the sounds of her, they had a truck reversing noise because the truck was reversing above her. And they never had something else change that noise. It was always a fucking truck reversing.
No, it was other stuff.
No, and in that scene.
Oh, in that scene? Yeah, no, it was always the same truck.
Because they went back to it multiple times in that same scene.
Yeah, no, that one scene, like, they overused it. They could have done it once or twice and then stopped, but they kept going over and over again. But, it could have been something like, I don't know, they were just, the jokes were fine, they weren't amazing, and they were overused for sure. And, like, I don't know, I wouldn't say it's not my kind of movie, because I do like rom-coms, and I do like satire films, and I do like comedies. It's just this one didn't really connect with me, I guess, because I just felt like it was trying too hard, and it was being tropey, but, like, it was using satiring tropes as an excuse to be tropey instead of just being tropey and just being true to what it was.
Yeah. So then after the date with the billionaire and she's like in love with him or whatever, well, she's not in love with him, but he says I love you to her.
Yeah, she decides that the only way to wake up from this thing is to have someone fall in love with her. And he says I love you, and then she's like, wait, what? And then later on she realizes, wait, Josh is the one who needs to fall in love with me, because she realizes she likes Josh.
But the issue there is Josh has fallen in love with the billionaire's best friend.
Yeah, he falls in love with this supermodel / yoga ambassador or whatever, played by Priyanka Chopra.
It's like one of those jobs you expect to see in, like, Homes Under the Hammer or something. It's like, oh, what are you? I'm a moth enthusiast and I'm a yoga ambassador and our budget's £10 million.
Yeah, so that happens. Like, he saves her from choking, and then they fall in love, and then they start to get, like, they get engaged, and then so, of course, Rebel realizes she has to get Josh to fall in love with her and stop the wedding. And, like, this whole time, it's kind of like, you know, she's just got to get this guy to fall in love with her and then she'll be happy. And it's just... And she realizes she does really like Josh, which is nice.
Yeah.
So she goes, she tries to stop the wedding, and then as she's saying, like, you should love me because... And she's thinking of all these reasons, and then she's like, you should love me because I love... And... You think she's going to say you, but you also know she's going to say me. She says, I love me.
It also kind of came out of nowhere, though, because there was no real build up to it of like, oh, I like this about me, or I have more self-confidence.
Well, actually, it depends on which trailer you watch. There's a few trailers, and one of them does express a lot of self-love messages.
But that doesn't come across in the movie.
I mean, there's a scene before she goes to stop the wedding where she's talking to Donnie, her gay sidekick, and he's talking about how he learned to love himself, and he loves his skanky ass, is the quote, I believe. And just how, like, he had his heart broken all the time, and he wasn't letting anyone see it, and he wasn't being open, and then he learned to love himself, and that's why the world can see him now. So I totally saw it coming after that it was going to be a self-love thing and not a guy falls in love with me thing, even though it still ends up at the end of the movie being a guy falls in love with me thing.
It's still not a build-up, that's like the scene before, like, ooh, we better throw this in for the next scene. Kind
of. So basically she's like, I love me, and then when she says that, she's like, hey, you know what? Don't stop the wedding. You do you. I'm gonna go do me. Cool, see ya. And then she steals a car. And she crashes, and then she wakes up from the dream world into the real world where everything's shitty again. But she's really happy that it's shitty again.
She goes to work and she's not letting anyone walk over anymore.
Yeah, she goes to work, and I kind of like that. They were like, can you do this thing? And she was like, nope. And the supervisor was like, oh, can you do... And she's like, oh, hold on. How about I call you and tell you to do your fucking job? And she's like, yeah. I was like, yes, rebel.
Is, the only person who actually cared she was gone for a day was her assistant.
Yeah, like, Josh didn't even notice she was gone, which I was kind of like, oh, okay, maybe that is just, like, a fantasy world thing and not a real thing. But, okay, so she's basically decided she's going to love herself, she's happy in her own skin, she's going to be open to the world, which is all great. But then she goes to the office, and Josh is there, and she's like, dude, you gotta stop looking at that window.
Because outside the window there's a billboard with a model on it.
Yeah, which is what she thinks he's always looking at. She's just like, you gotta stop looking at that window, you gotta start living in the real world, you don't need love to complete you, you're great on your own. And he's like, hold on a second. So he goes over, he sits her down in his chair across the room, goes over and sits in her chair, and then looks out the window. And if he does that, his reflection is perfectly seen in the window, and that's what he was always looking at. And so he comes back over and he's like, I was looking at you. I'm always looking at you. And she starts to cry, and then they kiss. And then they're like, we should go out sometime. And then I assume they go out sometime.
They arrange to go out on Saturday.
Yeah, and I was just like, this bullshit.
Yeah.
I actually, like, if they hadn't done that, if she just had, I don't know. I didn't feel like her getting with Josh should have been the end of the movie. I felt like the end of the movie.
Because after that we get the dance scene.
There is a dance scene, but even then, so after the kiss, she goes to the elevator and she decides to, like, leave, I guess, because she was only at work for 20 minutes, but that's enough. So
no,
she's
she had
leaving.
A board meeting, she had everything she needed to do.
Yeah, so she's leaving, and then her friend Whitney comes down, she's like, hey, okay, just wanted to say I'm really proud of you, that went great, you're awesome, I guess rom-coms aren't that bad, and, like, I know you say it sucks, but you seem to be the successful woman with the great job and the great man that you hate, so, like, what? And Rebel's just kind of like, I mean, just to be clear, like, I don't need Josh. I'm like, it's cool that I have Josh, but I only need me. I complete myself. So, you know, cool. But, like, yeah, you can say that, and it's a great sentiment, but it doesn't change the fact that you're literally ending this movie with a couple getting together and a big old dance scene and credits. That's how you chose to end this film. And another dance scene. Another dance scene was not needed. 2 was enough.
There was a karaoke scene earlier, and it's just like...
Yeah, there was like a mini dance scene in like Central Park or something where the swearing was going on. She learned she couldn't swear, and then there was the song "Dance with Somebody," a karaoke /
which
dance
I enjoyed,
scene.
honestly.
I did enjoy it. It was very campy, but we didn't need another dance scene at the end. That was so unnecessary.
Plus, my issue is it wasn't the credits. They had the song, and then they had the credits with another dance scene with a different song, and it's just like, go away.
Yeah, it was just kind of like... Ugh. Story-wise, it was interesting enough as a concept, but just the way they executed it was like, it was just an excuse to be tropey and be like, hey, we're not tropey, we're making fun of the tropes. And it's like, no, you're just being tropey. You're just being tropey in disguise.
Yeah. That's
how it felt.
So, like...
I mean, I'd give it, like, another 5 out of 10. I was just underwhelmed, like, the whole time.
The whole movie, I think I'm going to end up giving it 5. It's so average.
Yeah.
Well, actually, acting. I feel like everyone phoned in their performances.
I didn't like the acting. Liam Hemsworth just got to be a dim guy speaking in his natural accent, Australian. So cool. But we know he has so much more range. Adam Devine was Adam Devine.
Yeah.
Rebel Wilson was Rebel Wilson. In every movie I've seen her in, she's always just the same. Like, yeah, there was a bit more depth to her character, but besides that, she was still just a funny girl who was kind of fat and was joking about being fat and funny.
Yeah, and she's like quirky and awkward and not perfect.
Like, that's literally her whole character. Like, and I'm sure she can do more than that.
Do you know who I actually enjoyed?
Who?
I enjoyed Priyanka Chopra.
Yeah, I mean, she was in it very limitedly. Like, she was only in it a bit.
But she was very refreshing. I actually enjoyed her acting.
I did kind of find her funny overall. Yeah. But besides that, like, yeah, just the performances, I found them lackluster. Like, they had a really good cast.
Like, they're all talented people.
Yeah, they're talented people, but it's just like...
Well, Rebel Wilson's debatable.
I like Rebel Wilson.
I like her...
I don't like her characters, but I like Rebel Wilson. I don't necessarily think
she's talented, though, because she is doing the same thing, and the more you do the same thing, the less...
I mean, the same can be said for, like, people like Adam Sandler.
Well, I wouldn't call him talented, so...
No, but, like, he's always doing the same thing, whereas if you've seen him in Punch Drunk Love, I think it's called, he was really good in that movie. It's like an actually dramatic, serious movie, and was really great in that movie, and you can see his range and what he can do, but what he chooses to do is shitty comedy movies.
Well, then maybe Rebel Wilson needs to choose to do something else.
I would love to see her try something more serious. Yeah. I would love to see what she can do and what her range actually is.
So for acting, I wouldn't even give it a 5. I'd give it a 4.
If even, like, 2 to 3. I mean, I guess 4. Because we know what their capabilities are. We just also know what they gave in this movie, which wasn't good.
It's so sad that so far it has a 14 out of 50.
Being on the scale of being true to marketing,
I laughed more at the trailer.
Yeah, the trailer, like, I literally would have taken the trailer over the movie. Like, it was just...
Or even, like, if this was, like, a half-hour short film.
When we say, was it true to marketing, what we mean is, did the trailers portray the movie and actually how it was going to be? Because sometimes there are things you can see a trailer for, and then you see the movie, and the tone is completely different, or there's so many scenes in the trailer that just straight up are not in the movie.
Or like, very different in the movie.
Yeah, or play out very differently. Like how... If you saw the trailers for the Hunchback of Notre Dame by Disney when it was coming out, it was very happy and lighthearted and goofy, and those are the only scenes it showed. And then when you saw the movie with your children in cinemas...
It's so dark.
It's dark and twisted and heavy on the religion and just intense in places.
And amazing.
I love it. That film. But, like, I would not say it's true to marketing. The marketing was just a ploy to get butts in seats.
Yeah. If Disney couldn't have a dark movie, that wouldn't get people into cinema.
So, like, I do feel like this movie was represented well in its marketing. It was, you know, campy, silly, rom-com movie.
Yeah.
That's what it was marketed as. That's what it was. Like, as far as being true to marketing, I'm giving it a 10.
Yeah.
Like, that's what it was.
I just feel like the way the movie actually tried to market itself in its actual movie and not in its trailer was something more than it was, you know?
Yeah.
But for marketing, marketing was like, it's campy, here it is.
And, like, the last thing I want to talk about is the cinematography, the way it was shot and the way the movie looked.
I liked it.
I liked it.
Well,
like, once it hit the dream world, it was very, like, I mean, in the regular world of New York, it was very normal, day to day. It just looked like New York City. And then once it hit the dream world, it was like you stepped into, like, I don't know,
It was an Instagram filter. That's the joke they made.
Yeah, it was like looking at everything through an Instagram filter. It was like Dorothy waking up in Oz after being in Kansas. It was literally like everything was bright, beautiful, technicolor.
When she got driven home by her billionaire new boyfriend, there was a whole extra road added to the bridge that's not actually there, so that they didn't have to take 10 years to get across. The water looked beautiful. It was sunny. Like everything, I just thought it was really pretty. And yeah, there are movies that are like, yeah, it's pretty, but it's got no substance. But like, I'm not talking about substance. I'm just talking about if it was pretty, and I think it was really pretty. And all the shots were great. Like there was the dates on their yacht was beautiful.
Yeah,
you get loads of great scenery, and the wedding even, and the party before the wedding, like all lovely.
Yeah, and like just in scenes where characters are talking together, I liked the way it was shot. Like it's not like cut, like constantly jumping from one angle to another. It was just like good shots.
Even at the end, there's a hotel scene, and like the sun is shining through the window beautifully, and there's like a lovely outside. You can see people walking past this side, and it's just great.
Yeah, like I just really enjoyed the way the movie looked.
Although I feel like the running scene,
The running scene was kind of...
too long.
Yeah.
It was dumb.
She was talking about the stupid trope of how at the end of a rom-com you run in slow motion. So she starts running, and then she goes in slow motion, and she grabs her boobs because they're bouncing all over the place. You know, hilarious.
I'm happy the slow motion joke wasn't that she just can't run because she's fat.
Yeah, like, it was literally...
So
if that was it, it would have been stupid. Like, I mean, it would have been more stupid, considering I already thought it was kind of dim. Yeah, like, that would have been not great. Like, the whole joke of, you know, women should wear sports bras because it hurts their boobs to be running otherwise. I get that. But I just feel like it was super unnecessary to just shove that in.
Yeah, and it wasn't particularly well shot either.
No.
But like,
as far as the overall cinematography goes, I would give it like a 7 or an 8.
I would go for 8.
Yeah, like an 8 maybe, like 8 out of 10.
Because we have to take away points, of course, because we didn't like that one scene, and we didn't... The shots out in normal New York were, like, nothing special.
Mm.
So, like, what's that out of 50?
It's 26.
You know what? That's a passing grade.
Yeah, like, it's just over, like, 50%. So, you know, it can't be helped. But I feel like the movie had so much potential.
I always did.
Like, that's what I want to ask you, Adam. What would you change?
So much.
Like, to make the movie better. What would you break it down to?
I think I would cut out the entire ending.
Okay.
I think if she went into work, had her say, and then left without kissing Adam Levine, I would have been more satisfied.
Yes.
I would actually have liked to have had more funnies.
Mm.
I didn't really laugh that much. There were lots of little details. That's something I would keep. Like, in the subway, the maps when she, like, were now heart-shaped and
stuff. In the dream world, yeah. Everything was, like, heart-shaped.
Like, people were dressed well, everyone was happy. Although, the costume, I loved when she got arrested and, like...
Yeah, no, that was interesting.
There was a scene with flower petals where the billionaire wrote his name on flower petals and scattered them down on the ground.
And then they formed the actual number, of course.
Yeah, like, they landed perfectly because of the power and love. I would have kept that was funny.
Mm.
But I probably would have changed a bit beforehand where she was just kind of like, oh, there's 3 million, like, ways this could actually work out. Because it kind of showed she was smart.
Yeah, no, she is. She's an architect.
Like, she's very smart. Like, it showed she was smart. But he kind of just walked away and ignored her. And I think I would have had him say something about how, oh, wow, you're really smart.
Yeah, like, I would have liked that to be acknowledged.
Yeah, like, it's just like, oh, she said math. It's kind of like, oh, she's a nerd instead of, you're smart.
Like, how many times do you see that in rom-coms that, like, they're not just kind of nerdy, like, they like nerdy things as in, like, movies and comic books. Like, they're actually just, like, brains, and they really like doing that kind of brainy stuff.
Yeah, they're not nerdy, they're smart.
Yeah, like, they're just clever. Let them be clever.
Yeah, and, like, acknowledge it, too. Like acknowledge the good things about them. Don't just have the guy just walk away and ignore her while she's talking to him. Like, that's not great.
No.
And I think I would have cut out all those scenes where she got hit beforehand.
Yeah, those were super unnecessary.
I think they made her look a bit more stupid than they should have. Because, oh, look, she's so smart, but also she's blind and can't see the guy who loves her. Or she's on getting into stupid accidents. Like, they joke about it in the dream world, like, oh, I keep falling, it's because of the dream world. But it's like, no, she was doing that before she went into the dream world.
Yeah, like, she was already doing all that stuff.
So that didn't work as a joke. So, yeah.
No, that wasn't funny.
I would have liked the movie to have been more funny because I didn't laugh a lot. I think a lot of jokes fell flat, and I would have changed them. And I think it was kind of offensive to women sometimes.
Yeah.
And gay people.
Yeah.
But their point kind of was that it's offensive to gay people.
Yeah,
but
that was
like
the
saying,
point.
oh, it's okay to be racist to black people in a movie as long as you're showing...
Like, oh, I'm doing blackface as satire, so it's fine. It's not fine, though.
Yeah, or like, oh, I'm slowly doing a gay accent because it's satire, but that's also not okay.
Mm.
So yeah, that's just a few things I would change. What about you?
The way I would change it is, so start off with the movie as her, like, waking up, she's going to her job. I'd still keep all of that. And then once she hits the dream world, again, I'd take out all the unnecessary physical comedy of her getting hurt. Like, getting hit by this food truck and getting, like, her, like, slipping and just falling over and stuff like that. Unnecessary. Like, yeah, have her hit her head. And go into the dream world, sure. But once she hit the dream world, see, here's the thing. I feel like it would have been cool to take less of a campy approach to it. There's this show called Drama World on Netflix, and it's basically a girl who gets sucked into the world of a K-drama. And so she has to, like, go through all this shit and like deal with the tropes and stuff, but she doesn't really go along with it. She just observes them and is like, huh, and she's like an observer just talking about it and being like, huh, so I get like, so this is happening, and oh, that's cool, that's happening too, and I'm going to tell my opinion about it. She's not actively participating in the tropes unless she absolutely has to.
Rebel does participate, like she's a big part, she is the main character, you know.
Yeah, Rebel just kind of falls into these things. She's like, okay, that's happening there, and like I would rather she, being an outsider in this trippy rom-com world, acted like an outsider and just wasn't affected by all this rom-com stuff, and she had to actually make an effort to be all the rom-com stuff and was taking more of a critical thought to it than just be like, okay, I guess I'm doing this now.
Or she was trying to make another version of herself love herself or something, you know.
Yeah, like that would have been cool, like if it ended with something like she was talking to her childhood self, being like, so this is the person I was supposed to make love me all along. That would have been a great thing to see.
Because what you actually had in the end was someone who hates tropes, apparently, just go in and literally fall
into every single trope.
Even the one where, oh, it wasn't the right guy and he's actually horrible. So
like, it was basically like, I hate all these tropes, and then she participates in all the tropes and actually has some fun and learns they're not so bad. No, they're still bad.
They're trash.
She shouldn't be learning that, oh, this is great. She should be learning that, yeah, I'm right, this is stupid. I should just love myself and do things for myself, which is fine. Like, I would have had most of it play out as I've just said. I would still keep the scene with Donnie where he talks about loving himself. I thought that was a touching scene.
Yeah.
And there's a funny bit that I did laugh at when she wakes up from the dream world, where she goes over to his house and she was like, wait, you're actually gay? I thought you were just gay in my dream. And he's like, what, you don't think drug dealers can be gay? That's really homophobic, Natalie. And I'm like, yeah, okay, wow, that was funny. I find that funny.
Yeah. I just like the subconscious idea that even though she wasn't sure he was gay, her subconscious.
Yeah, like you can, like, she already picked up on that. Yeah. Like, she just didn't know it in, like, the proper sense of it. And to end the movie, I would just have her go to work, do a presentation, rock it, but, like, rock it in a less funny way. Just say her thing and, like, just say, oh, this is what I think, and, like, I've been here a long time, I do really good work for you, I deserve this chance. And they're like, okay, you're right, wow us. And then she wows them, and they're like, that was really great. And then she, like, they're like, can you go and, like, work on this now? And she's like, yeah, I'll go work on that. So she goes to work, she sits down at her desk, she kind of just smiles, and, like, then I want her to look out the window and look at her own reflection and just be so content and satisfied. And that's it, that's the movie. She's completely 100% happy with herself and loves herself. She doesn't even acknowledge Josh. Like, maybe she'll wave at him or something, and, like, she'll give Whitney a hug or something, but besides that, like, no romantic shit with Josh. Just literally, it was me all along. I was the person I had to fall in love with. Yeah. Boom.
So we both agree that if you're going to do a fucking satire to romance, you can't actually end with the romance.
Yeah, if you're going to do a satire of romantic comedies, don't just be another romantic comedy. Actually be good.
Yeah. So, those are our thoughts.
Those were our thoughts on Isn't It Romantic?
You can tweet us your thoughts and we'll talk to you. Our Twitter handle is @AdamandCat.
Mm-hmm. And if there's a movie on Netflix or something that you really want us to talk about, that you don't want to see yet, or if you've seen it and you want to see our thoughts on it, feel free to suggest things to us, because we're so open to suggestions.
Yeah. But our next movie will actually be Captain Marvel.
We'll be seeing Captain Marvel when it comes out, and then we'll be posting another film club later in the month. So you can look forward to that. That'll be in the next few weeks.
And then after that, hopefully we'll have more Psychos or another book club after that. You know, we've got loads of content coming your way.
Yeah, no, we have a lot of content coming. So we have more Psychos on the way. We're doing book club. We're doing film club. Everything is coming out.
And, like, you can give suggestions for all of them. You have our Twitter. It's in the description too. And you also have our Instagram if you want to follow us there. We'll be posting when we put new episodes up.
We love making this content for you. If you enjoy our content, if you could share it out and just let people know, because we'd love to have more people to make content for. We want, like, a diverse audience, because, like, we could get suggestions for a movie we didn't even consider, or we could get suggestions for a book that we never thought we'd like until we gave it a go.
We didn't even know about it. Like, we might not even know it existed.
Yeah, exactly. Like, we didn't know about Solitaire until we read Heartstopper, and we only read Heartstopper on, like,
a whim.
Yeah, like a complete chance, because I saw it. It was the last copy in a bookshop, and I picked it up because I thought it was cute.
But it also has so many fans, so if we had more fans, maybe one of them would have read it and be like, oh, I would love to hear their thoughts on Heartstopper.
Yeah, like, if you just, like, share your thoughts with us so we can keep sharing our thoughts with you.
Yeah. So thanks for listening. I've been Adam.
And I've been Kat.
And this has been our film club. See you next week.